everyone, Stacy from Dies to Die For. Welcome to Thursday night's card making video. Tonight we're going to be using our Teapot die. I believe was released in February, but this is the first chance I've had to use it. And we're going to make another Mother's Day card. So let me show you the die first. This is our Teapot die, and it comes with a little cup and time for tea word. My 4 is, I left that on the other side of the room, so but that's what the die looks like. And this is a card making die, kind of similar to our snow globe die, if you've ever seen that. Let me show you how it works really quick. You take your a piece of paper, fold it in half, then you're gonna take the folded edge and line it up right there. You see those 2 little marks, the end of those 2 little cutting lines? You line it up right there, put it through your machine. You can tape it down if you'd like, but what you get out is this little teapot card. So let me show you, let me grab my card that we'll be working on. What I did on tonight's card is I watercolored it with acrylic paints. Actually, show you real quick. I actually did one with distressed inks, and I think Simon Hurley inks too. This is what the inked one looks like, and I just ink blended that one like normal. See the difference? They both look nice. It just depends on what look you're going for. All right. Tonight I'm going to use 2 colors. This is crimson, and I don't even know how to say that word. O-C-H-R-E, or I don't know. Anyway, these are from Finnabar, or Alchemy they are called. And we do not have those in stock yet. We've been waiting for a lot of her products to come in stock since we did a class with her back in February, but we do not have these yet. We will though. Okay, I'm going to take a little, let me move this over so you guys can see what I'm doing better. And take a little of the crimson. Can you see that? Is that on camera? Yep. And put it in this little well here and add a little bit of water. Then I'm just going to make a huge mess. And it's okay that you have the darker and lighter the variation in color, because that's what you're going for in this look. Or at least that's what I was going for. I already have the card that we'll be using for tonight painted. I just wanted to show you guys how I watercolor my cards. Don't really need to do the handle because you'll be cutting that off. And actually on my other card I did not paint on the card base. So we're going to cut this in half. Because I didn't paint on the card base, I attached the piece that was painted to a card base so it didn't curl. Let's go ahead and cut this handle off while we're at it, because we're not going to need this handle. We're going to use the handle that's on the card base that we glue this down to. Okay, back to painting. Okay, I put some purple on there, and then or crimson, sorry. It looks purple to me. This crimson must be like a maroon. Okay, then I'm going to take the brownish color and add a little water to that. And I'm just using the same brush because I do want the colors to blend. And just kind of put that all over. And then go a little darker where the crimson, is really light. And on this card, I don't want this brown color to be, and I'm not going to attempt to say the name, but I don't want it to be too dark because I don't want that to be the dominant color. Okay, I think that's about good. So you just make a nice big mess and kind of trying to make it look like a hand-painted teapot, I guess. And then I cut out another, let's see, that's not the best one. Let's go with this one. I cut out another top part of it because I want to layer it. And then I took a little bit more just straight crimson color and went along the edge. That way when you put it on top of the teapot, there's a little bit of a definition to the lid. If you don't like how your line is, if you want it to blend a little bit more, you can add a little water. You could even go around the whole lid if you wanted, but I'm not going to. That's where we're going to stop with the paint. I'll set this aside because I still am going to use it because I have some wax on that I'll show you right now. Because after I did this step, I actually took the white pearl metallic wax and I went over the teapot. I can't do it on this one because it's still wet, but once it dries, I'll show you. If you can see that shimmery, see what a color difference it makes. It just softens those colors up. But that wax I also took, and we're going to use butterflies and some of the lilies. I took the wax, and you can either use your finger, which I always tend to do because I feel like I get more control, or you can take a brush. And if you're using a brush, make sure it's a brush you don't use for anything else. And just rub that wax on. And this wax lasts a long time. I've already done, let's see, I did 2 big canvas projects where I covered them all in wax, and I've done probably about a dozen cards, and this is all that I've used. You can see that's still pretty full. All you need is a little tiny dab. And this paper I'm using is just my regular 110-pound card-based paper. Alright, that's how I did the butterflies and the lily. Let's see how our teapot over here. Well, since we're not actually going to use this one, I'll just show you real quick the color difference that it makes once you put the wax in, if I can pick some up or put the wax on. This wax is fun stuff. And it is available. This is the white, but it is available in a few different colors. I think maybe a dozen different colors. I have not tried any other color besides this. But this is another product that's a Finnabar product that's we're still waiting to come in. Okay, can you see that? Can you see the color difference that makes? In there, I don't know if the light's, to me the light's shining on it too much for me to see. Because I have a big bright light right above me. I'm just going to finish it since I already started. Won't bore you guys. Watch me wax my paper. Okay, like that. If I was going to use my finger, I would just dip my finger in it a little and just rub it around the same way. We'll set that one aside, and then I also waxed, well, I got to do this real quick now that I did the teapot. I also waxed the top. That doesn't take long. There you go. Switch my paper so I don't get that wax on anything else. When you put the wax on, make sure that you're all done with your painting and everything, because that wax you won't be able to paint over once you put it on. Then my last step on my butterflies, I'm also going to show you. First, I made a little kind of tidy tray. I left mine at my building, and before I knew there was such thing as a tidy tray, I used to do this all the time. You just cut the four corners, fold them, and leave this one loose. That way when you're done with your beads or whatever it is, you can pour it right out, right back into the bottle. So you guys are gonna see my, hold on, my heater just kicked on. Let me turn it off quick. Okay. It is still cold in Michigan. It's about 30 degrees out right now, so. Anyway, for the butterfly, I want to put some micro beads down the center of them. You see those? So I just put a thing of glue right in the center. I'm going to take my micro beads and shake some out on there. And it doesn't matter how many you shake out, because of your nice little tray, you're going to be able to put them back in there. Okay. Then they should all fall on the glue. If they're off a little, you can bend the wings up and it'll make a nice little line with your micro beads. And set that aside and let it dry. I think the micro beads down the center adds a nice little touch. And these are, let's see, this is what I'm using, the micro beads. These are also Finnabar. And again, I've used this. The silver I seem to like the most. There's a lot of colors in here, but I use this the most. I've used it on a lot of projects. Still tons left. As long as I don't let my girls get a hold of it, then I'm sure they would be gone. You gotta be careful with these little beads. They will get everywhere. Okay, put my top back on. Then, oh, I didn't paint my teacup. Why did I not paint my teacup? I'm going to show you how I did the teacup. I cut 2 teacups out. And then the one, this one that I'm going to leave the bottom on, I cut the handle off of. The other one, I cut the plate part and the cup apart. And I inked this in Simon Hurley Wolf gray ink. And I inked the handle in Simon Hurley Wolf gray ink. And then my card that we'll be making, I actually inked the handles on the card base itself in the Wolf ink. But now I just realized that I never painted my cup. So let's paint the cup real quick. Just what you guys wanted to do. Watch me paint again, huh? Same thing with this as I did on the teapot. Only it's a whole lot faster. And it doesn't matter if you go down onto that base, because that's going to be covered with your gray. Mix a little brown up. Spread it out a little. Okay, I'm going to dab it off so it dries quicker. There's your cup. Actually, that looks kind of cool when you do that. Can you guys see that? Learned a new trick. You guys probably already knew that though, huh? You're sitting there saying, what took you so long? Even though this is still wet, I'm going to just glue these together. And we're going to set it aside to dry for a minute. And when I went over the part that I painted with the wax, I also did the plate for the cup, the handle for the cup, and the handle for the, let's see, we're up there too far, the handle for the teapot itself. I think this, yeah, that one's done. Okay, you put the plate right on top, then you're going to put this behind, right there. So put a little glue on that. Get it lined up. Okay, there's my little teacup. And let that dry for a couple more minutes too before we put the wax on it. Then, like I already showed you, I did a separate top. I've already assembled this one. I inked the handle in gray, then I put the painted pot over it, and I put the Happy Mother's Day word down. This is our Happy Mother's Day die. This is one of our original dies, one of the first Mother's Day that we had our die business. We made this one, and I made a big mistake back then. I didn't check to see if all the letters were connected, so the D and the AY are not connected together, but it's easy enough just to lay those right by each other. I've learned a lot since then. Okay, the top of this right here, I cut out one of our smallest in our basic heart set, and I did put the wax on that too and just put it right on the top. I thought it added a nice little touch and brought some of that white color to the top. Then we're going to take some of our lilies that we already waxed. Oh, and then the centers of the lilies I painted with the brown, whatever the name of the color is. You guys get it by now, right? I painted those with that and then put them on instead of making them the traditional yellow that Easter lilies are. Okay, I think we can put the wax on this now because we really need this for the next step. And how heavy you put your wax on is going to determine the color that you get in the end. Like if you put it on really heavy, you're really going to mute those colors down. If you put it on a little lighter, okay, see the difference? This cup I didn't put it on very heavy. This one I did. If I use my finger, you can put it on lighter. With using a brush, it goes on heavier than what I normally like, so I usually use my finger. Okay, let's assemble our cup. First, I took one of our small lilies, and I put it, kind of tucked it onto that cup a little bit. Am I staying in camera view? Make it a habit to not watch my videos. And the other night I watched Tuesday night's video for some reason because I was up at 5 a.m. and nobody else was. So I watched it and I realized that I was tending to work down here a lot where you guys couldn't see. So I have readjusted the camera. Hopefully it'll keep me in view a little bit better. Okay, now I'm going to I want my cup lined up with the bottom. That way if you want to set the card up, you can. So I want my cup right about here so I can still read my Mother's Day word. Then I'll put that one right there. Because again, you don't want to cover the word up, but you want to be able to see your little lilies. I'm going to hold those two in place. And tack them down a little. Come on. There we go. Hold those down for a second while I look around to see where I put my pop dots. Because we are going to put some pop dots on this little cup. I'm just trying to see where I need pop dots. So that they're right. There's no pop dots hanging over. That one's hanging over a little. Move it over. Okay, we'll do a new one. Okay, I think that should be good, but Then I'm going to take one more large flower and one more small flower. And this flower I am going to leave down towards the bottom of the card. But the nice thing about this flower is there's a crease right there, so you can fold it. Let me show you what I mean. See, it's leaning down a little, but if I want to set my card up, then I can just fold that little flower. Can you see that? Fold it a little bit and set it up. So this, it doesn't really matter if it's hanging down below the card, as long as you have that crease on the edge so it can sit up. Hold that down. Once you have all the pieces made for this card, it really doesn't take long to make it. Just making all the pieces. That little lily there. Okay, now it's time to put our cup down. And then once you get your cup down, if you think it needs more pop dots, then you can put more wherever you feel it needs it. I think it needs one up here somewhere, so let's try to get one under there. Take my back off. It's stuck to my nail. And if you do use your fingers for the wax, you're going to want to wash them really well before you use the pop dots, because my first cup, I didn't wash them very well on my first card, and when I tried to put them on my cup, the pop dots, they would not stick because I had wax all over them. Okay, there's that. Now the last step is to take some of my cute little butterflies and put them on there. I think I'm going to use, see, I have some small ones. You guys know what the butterfly set looks like. Let me show you. I have a few of this size and a few of this size on this card. I didn't want anything too big and overwhelming, but actually putting that right in the center would be cool too, wouldn't it? Not for this particular card, but. All right. I want a little butterfly down here on this teacup. Just hold it there for a second. I think we're going to put a smaller one on the handle. Just drop my glue in the water. At least it wasn't the paint, right? Stay there. All right, do I have another bigger one, or are they both? No, here's another bigger one. Okay, I want another bigger butterfly, probably right there. Yeah, up there's too high. Fill in some of that spot right there. Here we go. We'll set these two little butterflies aside and I'll use them on another project. Because tonight we are not going to make a slimline card using the Teapot. I am going to do a special Mother's Day edition on Mother's Day and show you how I turn this Teapot into a slimline card. But for tonight, this is the card that we're doing. Our little Happy Mother's Day Teapot. And here's the one that was inked instead of painted. But then, a big surprise, I never do the inside of my cards, but I did on this one. I just painted two more pieces. Oh, and I didn't wax this part, but I painted two more pieces and laid them on there. That way, I didn't want to paint right on the base because I didn't want it curling too much. It's curling right now just because I have pop dots on these and I had it laying like that. But you can straighten it back out with a heat gun. Anyway, laid those down. I did it the same exact way, except I used our, in the center for a little journaling area so you can write something. I used our ruffle edge circle, And then I just put wax right around the edge of that to leave the center open to write on. Put a few lilies and a butterfly, and presto, the inside of my card's done. Probably the second card that I've ever done the inside on. All right, I am going to let you guys go for tonight because it's very late and I have some kids out there squealing. But we will see you again on Sunday for our special Mother's Day card. Have a great